Greetings, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I'm coming to you today on Wednesday, November the 4th, 2021. And I'm coming really kind of in a somber mood today because I want to talk to you about parenting. I was a substitute school teacher. Technically, I still am for the public school system in Louisville, Kentucky, and I decided to work in the urban community with children who were, had the most issues because I felt like I could bond with them, and I was able to make a tremendous impact on the children. When you are a teacher, you deal with a lot of issues and a lot of concerns from the children, and it's interesting because the parents often fought the school system, the teachers, the principals, the administrators for what's going on with the children. Well, what I've always known, being a parent and a very active parent in my children's lives since they were young, they're all grown now and very active and productive citizens in society. What I found is that when you're a parent, when you do your job as a parent, that there's nothing that a school system or a police officer or somebody else could do to you or your child to keep you all from thriving. I want to speak to you parents because I know a lot of you, particularly in the so-called black community within the urban community, a lot of us like to blame the school system. We like to blame the police. We like to blame politicians. We like to blame the government. We like to blame white supremacy, racism, and all this for how and why we have failed as parents. Now, I'm going to speak to you as kindly and as lovingly as I can. A lot of us have failed our children, and we need to take accountability for that. No, it is not the problem of white supremacy, racism, and discrimination, and all this other stuff for why our children are failing. The problem for why the children are failing is because those of us who have laid on our backs and enjoyed the process of making these children are not doing our jobs. Now, you can make excuses and say, well, I had to work, well, I had to do this, that, and the third. But you know what's interesting is that a lot of you find the time to chase tail and chase penis and party and hang out and kiki and get on your cell phones and play around and be on Facebook and social media, but you can't seem to find the time to parent your children. So when I would talk to the children and ask them, what's going on? What's going on? You know, they never mention white supremacy and racism. So you leaders need to stop saying that because you're giving parents an out. You're making excuses for them and you're not holding them accountable. You know why children would tell me that they're in trouble? The children that would come to school with ankle bracelets and have been in jail, and some of them in and out of prison, getting pregnant at early ages, because some of them don't know who their fathers are because you've been irresponsible with your bodies about who you land with, and you don't even know who the father of your children are. See, this is a problem in the black community. 77% of us are without husbands. This is really a problem, and somebody needs to address it. So I'm going to address it today. And a lot of them don't know who their daddies are because some of the daddies have just left and wandered around and acted a fool because they wanted to chase tail. Now, let's be real about this problem. And some of the young men would say that they, were encouraged by the older men or the OGs to go out and sell drugs because they knew that if a younger man got caught with the drugs, they would spend less time in jail and prison. So the younger men got the fall. You parents, you have to do a better job. Now, when you take accountability for your failures, that's not to condemn yourself or make you feel stupid or bad or ashamed, but you still should feel a little shame. But you should take accountability and say, I failed my children. Now let me get back to doing what I need to do. You need to repent. Some of you need to go and sit your children down and talk to them and say, yes, I failed you. I failed you in this area and that area. I was too busy doing that and the third. Or even if you don't explain it, then at least tell them I failed you and ask them, what can I do to make this right? You need to go and talk to some counselors or get some therapy counseling or something. And we elders need to get on our jobs like we're supposed to do and tell these young parents you have failed, and these elder parents, you have failed your job. You're not doing your job. You don't make time to go and volunteer in the schools. You don't have a relationship with the principals, the teachers. You just get on your high horse and you talk about them and down them because you are the reason why your children are failing. Let's just be real. You let your children run around in the gangs. You let your children sell drugs. You know what's going on. Stop acting silly. Stop being irresponsible and parent. Now, I wish I could come on here and be loving and kind and generous and all that, but y'all have failed. You have failed your children. You have failed the community. So now Some of these kids are out here running around, stealing cars, selling drugs, and then they get time 10, 20 years and serving with grown men because you failed. We got to get about our business and get on our jobs and start parenting. Find a way. The way you find a way to find those men. I was on a broadcast the other day talking to somebody who was like, I can tell how sexy a man is by the way he danced on the dance floor. And that's how you end up with kids with no father, because you're too busy trying to find out what's sexy dancing on the dance floor instead of prioritizing your life and being a parent. You're too busy on the cell phone, on social media, going to clubs, partying, clicking, hanging out, getting your hair and nails did. You don't want to pay nobody to tutor your kids, but you find a way to get an iPhone for everybody in the family and to upgrade every single month the iPhone because you don't prioritize. You're eating out and you can't lie to me. You're eating out a lot. You don't cook at home, so your money's going there, but you don't have money to get a tutor for your child. You don't have money for private school. You have failed your children. Nobody else is speaking up for the children. Dr. Kia Pruitt is speaking up for them today. Parents, do your job. Mothers, do your job. Fathers, do your job. You leaders, you pastors, you lawyers and judges and teachers that's telling everybody to go and tear up their community because of some racism and discrimination, stop and tell people to take care of their own household and nobody have to beat you upside the head when you act a damn fool. Stop and tell these parents to do their jobs and stop blaming a white man, racism, supremacy, white supremacy. What all y'all just making excuses for parents not to do their job to take care of these children. And I'm sick and tired of it. You don't know how to parent. Get some parenting classes. Sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere and spend time with your children. When they come home from school, sit down with them. Do the homework with them. You don't know how? Get some help. Get some tutoring. It's ridiculous. The reason why we have a lot of problems going on in society is the parents don't do their job. You want to blame the music. You want to blame the church. You want to blame this person, that person. Turn off the music. You want to blame the television. Turn off the television. You don't like the school? Sit your behind down and educate your own children. It's ridiculous. Get one of these teachers that got fired because they don't want to take the the V, and pull your money together and have them to teach your children at home. When when you want to find a solution, you will create one. But when you bitch and moan and complain and whine like little children, you have these problems where our babies are going to jail and our young girls are having children by grown men. I was on a broadcast the other day and these women were sitting up here making excuses for how when they were 16 they was having sex with grown ass men. Parents have failed, and the men who were on the broadcast said nothing. But when I'm on broadcast telling y'all to stop blaming white supremacy and discrimination and racism, everybody want to call me names, call me an Uncle Tom. But you know what? I was there for my children. My mother was there for me. She had me at 15. 15, we were raised in the projects on welfare. My daddy, unfortunately, was a heroin addict. My mama taught me to read a book. I don't even know what and she made us do reports for her. I don't even know if she could read the reports because she dropped out of high school because she had to have children. She made sure we succeeded in life. She set the bar high and said, you will succeed. She made us do multiplication, facts, and division, and addition and subtraction. She was there and made us read. Now, her method sometimes seemed a little harsh, but she did that. When I was a single parent when I got divorced, but I bet you I made time for my children. I bet you I found jobs where I could be there for them. I bet you I figured out a way. Because you know what? Instead of saying I can't, ask yourself, how can I? Instead of saying I can't be there for my children, I said, how can I be there for my children? I'm going to be there for my children. And guess what? I was there for my children. They all graduated from high school with above a 4.0. They all went to college on 4 academic scholarships. Every last one of them. They went their own route. Some decided to go to this program. They didn't necessarily all graduate from the school I wanted them to go to, but they all either got a trade or they finished their degrees. Because I was determined to do that, and I was a single parent who grew up on welfare. I got married at a young age, I got divorced, and I made a way for my children because that's what I wanted to do. So you can do it if you want to do it. Stop making excuses and take care of your children, because you do what you want to do. You spend your money on where you want to spend your money. You spend your money eating out, you spend your money partying, you spend your money getting your hair did, you spend your money on iPhones. If you don't know how to get money to get tutors when your children need tutors or extra help or counseling or whatever, cut back on the things that you don't have to have If you got, y'all know where I'm going. It's really disgusting. It's really tiring. Be parents so that the police won't have to parent your child, so that the school system won't have to be the parents. Be parents. We have failed our children. It's time for us to reconcile with that and admit it and take accountability for our failures. Y'all want to cry when they die in a funeral because you wasn't parenting and you weren't there for them, so they had to go find a father in the streets, because I had to go find some solace and some community in the street because you didn't do your job. Parents, stop blaming everybody else for your failures. Some of y'all allowed your daughters to get raped because instead of having some discipline and being celibate or finding one companion, you was chasing tail. And so that man molested your child. And then you try to act like you don't know why she fast and having sex with grown men. It's pathetic. And the people in the black community allow y'all to make excuses for your failures. Well, I'm not allowing it. Y'all failed. So take accountability for that. Repent, talk to your children, reconcile with your children, and get about the business of doing what's right. I'm out.